What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is TexMexFerguson, and today we are doing a little bit different video. We are still doing Dead by Daylight videos, but we are going over the cosmetics that change the overall appearance of your killer. Now, this isn't just the clothing options, but it actually does change what your character looks like. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and we will hop right into the first killer for you. Alright, so one of the cosmetics for Trapper that changes his overall appearance is the Krampus skin. As you can see, he is no longer Trapper, he is 100% just Krampus. So he comes with the horns, the head, the ears, the little goat feet. I thought that was pretty cool. They actually give you a cosmetic that you don't have to actually look like the character in. So here we have Wraith. Wraith doesn't really have a whole lot that changes his overall appearance. He kind of just looks like Wraith in general, just wearing different clothes. But there are a couple outfits that do make him look completely different. So we are going to go look at Weathered Scarecrow here. So as you can see, he changes his arms and his legs. They have more of a tree, I'm assuming, vibe to them. They look like they're covered in more branches, as well as the branches sticking out of his face here in his little hood. So I would assume that would also qualify as changing his overall appearance. And then we'll go back up to here, to the Phantom of Vengeance. This one has the fire on the back, as well as the what looks to be magma or burning stuff underneath his skin, where it looks like it's bubbling up. And you can't really see his face. And then obviously you have the sleeping hollow, which this one overall changes what he looks like in general. You can actually see right through his body here, as well as being infected with the blight serum, as noted right here on the back of his, person. Alright, so the next one we got here is Hillbilly. Hillbilly doesn't really have a whole lot of cosmetics that changes overall body appearance, but we do have some that do end up changing him enough to where I think it qualifies. Obviously, we have to go with the blighted skin. First of all, because this one pretty much changes what he looks like in general. You got the blight serum seeping out of him all over the place. He's got extra scars, extra holes. It looks like an exposed skeletal system that's hanging out, as well as the blight serum on his upper back. So I think that one looked pretty cool. And then we have the Vile Scarecrow, which pretty much just leaves him looking like he's covered in like slight different little rags, as well as his skin and body parts hanging out. And you can see that his legs are pretty much 100% bone and maybe a little bit of muscle. So I thought this outfit looked pretty cool. Nurse, kind of like Hillbilly, doesn't have a whole lot that changes her overall physical appearance. I mean, she does in general have the fluid Nightingale, which is just a blight cosmetic, But this one has like the little bubblies, little blight bubbles all over the place, bubble in the face. You can kind of see her internal organs and stuff bubbling out, and then obviously the blight serum on the back. But there's also another couple of cosmetics that change some parts of her overall features. The first one we're going to look at is the Vengeful Enchantress. This one looks like she just has... those are scorpions. Alright, so she's covered in scorpions, first of all. And then her body in general has these green little fluidy bumps all over her, as well as this canister of things on her back. But what I want to take a look at is the legs down here. So you got her one left leg, which looks normal to the most part, with the green oozing bubbles all over it. And then you look at her right leg, and her right leg is pretty much non-existent. It kind of looks like roots to a tree. And then if you come over here to the Mother Mercy skin, nothing really super terrible or super exciting about this one. I mean, you can see the yellow hair, or the blonde hair up here. She is missing a little bit on her arm, which does change her physical appearance enough. And then if you look, her left leg instead of her right leg on this cosmetic is pretty much just worn down to the bone with a little bit of muscle tendon structure mixed in. And then she's got half of her right leg also missing. So I thought that was actually pretty cool. Now Huntress has some really good looking cosmetics, but not a lot of them also change her physical body. The only ones I could actually think of were probably Ignition, because this one just shows a lot of the burn marks and deep burn scars she has on her physical form. And then we have up here with the Beach Day outfit. This one is supposed to actually make her more muscular, kind of like the Hooked on You dating sim game. So she has a little bit more of a muscular frame on this body. And then obviously you have the Growth Surge, which is her blighted form, where she looks like she's turning into like an actual were-rabbit because of the hair and stuff all over her forearms and on her feet and on her legs, as well as also blight serum on the back. Alright, so the shape really has nothing that changes his overall physical appearance. Obviously, since he's a licensed character, they couldn't do a whole lot with it, but this is probably the best you're going to get, is his hospital gown and the IV thing hanging from his body. Alright, so the Hag's got a couple. Obviously, number one is the blighted skin. Now, this one does change what she looks like overall, because you got the blighted actual skin hanging out. You got her internal organs just seeping everywhere, as you can tell there. She's got the stuff coming out of her mouth, all the cracks in her head. She also has that unique looking head sculpt right here. It looks pretty good. And then we also have the Birch Witch. Now the Birch Witch is also a collaboration with the Crypt TV YouTube channel. So if you want to go ahead, go check them out. They also make horror movie based videos. But yeah, this one looks pretty good. Her whole body resembles a tree and pretty much resembles what the Birch looks like in their little shorts. And then we also have the Snake Charmer here, which this one makes her look like she's actually from like a deep swamp. And of course you obviously notice that there's a snake right here hanging around her, as well as the little snake head down here on her thigh. And she's all covered in moss and tree growth. So the Doctor really only has like one or two cosmetics you could say actually changes his physical appearance. I mean, if you want to go by the Look-See, who's also a Crypt TV character, then yeah, this one would qualify, but not by much. It's just a cosmetic effect and clothing change. Besides like the head sculpt itself, it's pretty much the same like style Doctor. And then also we have, as usual, the blighted cosmetic. Gives him 3 extra eyes, the blight serum coming out of his mouth. Then we also have the little pump back there for the blight serum, and his internal organs and stuff are dangling all over the place. And then finally we got the Resident Infestation. I would say this qualifies as just a cosmetic change for his outfit, but he does have more different scars and stuff hanging all over his body. As well as down here you have the little goopy, I'm assuming that's supposed to be the eggs of the insects that are currently inhabiting his body. So it does change what his body physically looks like. Okie dokie, so for Clown you only have a couple different cosmetics that changes overall appearance. Obviously you have Seething Entertainer, which is the blighted skin. See how his face is missing? He kind of resembles what looks to be a jack-o'-lantern looking style face, with his exposed stomach area all sliced up and patched back together with what appears to be staples. And of course he is seeping everywhere from the overexposure to the blight serum, with the little syringe injector in the back. And then we also have the Lord of the Underworld, which pretty much is just him without a shirt on, covered in like different scars and burns and stuff. Spirit doesn't have much in the form of cosmetics that change her overall appearance, except for the obvious blight one. But this one is in general a pretty good looking skin. It looks really, really creepy. As you can see, you got the devilish looking horns sticking out of her head, which I believe is supposed to be like glass, and the face with the hair, and like her body parts are actually like oozing everything all over the place. And then I would assume the Crystalline Apparition would probably be the next one, because this one actually puts icicles sticking out of her physical body and changes her to a different skin tone of blue, along with the hair and the makeup. Alright, so we only have 2 for Legion here. We have the Blighted Skin, obviously, with the, looks appears to be a combination of all 4 of the Legions mixed into one. So if you would move his hands, you'd be able to see he's got the 2 faces on their chest with the oozing Blight serum spots all over the place. Yep, see, so you got 1 face, 2 face. And then if you spin it around, you got the hair sticking out of the back. And then you got another face on the back of his head with the also oozing pustules of Blight serum. And then the 4 arms. And then we also have Hunk here, which is a reskin of Legion, but it's also a totally different character in general, so it does drastically change their overall body appearance. Now, Plague only has like 1 cosmetic that does change her overall appearance, and that would be, as usual, the Blighted Skin, Servant of the Serum. Again, same thing with all the other Blighted Skins. You got the little blight stuff all over the place, the little bumps, pustules, drippiness. Serum on the back. Different style outfit though, which actually looks pretty cool. And I guess they gave her a couple extra burns and plague marks all over her actual body form without the blight serum as well. So the only real cosmetic that Oni has that changes the overall appearance of his body is the Minotaur. So he pretty much just ends up changing into the Minotaur, so you get the head, the horns, the big giant nose ring, his little ox feet looking thing, and the cute little tail. And then I guess if you want to qualify it, you can go with the Cursed Fate skin as well, because that does give you a couple different horns throughout your body, as well as the ones on your head, and then his hairy goblin-looking feet, or orc feet as well. Deathslinger really has nothing going for him in the form of body-changing outfits, except for if you want to qualify the Twilight Swarm as changing. He's just covered in insects and barnacles and eggs, and his face is a little bit different, but other than that, he has absolutely nothing worth talking about in the forms of changing his overall body appearance. Pyramid Head in general has pretty much just the same one. I mean, if you want to go for the Pyramid Blight, then yeah, let's go ahead and go with that, because that does change his body appearance. But he does have the serum in the back, right there, and his head oozes all over the place. Blight has a few overall cosmetics that do change his appearance. Main one here is the William Birkin. So this one does change his physical form into an actual different character. They just use the same play style. And then we also have the True Blight, which is just regular Blight, but more serumed up. So you got more dangly stuff hanging out of his feet, more Blight serum dripping everywhere, and the giant hump. And the giant hump on his back with the finger knife looking things hanging out. And then we have the Ferryman of the Underworld, which this one just pretty much changes his skull, head sculpt, and adds the extra little hands and stuff all over his body. And he has a glowing little tummy and a face on his back. Trickster has absolutely nothing because nobody actually cares about Trickster. Nemesis has pretty much just the 2 skins besides his prestige, so you got the main skin here, and then you got your Nemesis Blight skin here. This one would qualify just because, you know, it's obviously the blighted skin. He's got the little serum right here. He's got the exposed back parts here. His eyes are actually covered up more than what they are in the original. And his mouth, and he's got all the seeping pustules and stuff, and it actually kind of looks like he's just wrapped in a trash bag. So Cenobite only has like 1 cosmetic that would be qualified as changing his body, and that would be the Chatterer skin. As you can see, it's a little bit skinnier than his other form, as well as the face sculpt and everything are pretty much different. Next up we have Artist, which only has about 1 or 2, if you want to qualify the other one as the second one. But first one is the Jabberwock. So you got the head sculpt of the Jabberwock mask, as well as the wings in the back, and then her tail is just wrapped around the legs, which is weird because it still has the same exact weapon. And then we have the image of the Furies. This one just gives her a larger, like, gaping mouth, but doesn't really add a whole lot more to her than that. The Onryo only has pretty much 2 skins unless you prestige her, so you got her regular skin here, and then her extra skin, which is her Rotten Remains. So this one would actually just qualify as that. So you got the skeletal remains of the Samara leaking all the green goop. Isn't that lovely? Alright, so my personal favorite, with the one that has probably the most regular body change options, would be the Dredge. Now there are more for Dredge that I am aware of, I just don't have them and you can't get them anymore. So this one is the Twisted Plaything with the dolls all over him. The little baby dolls, and then Maurice is hanging out. Hi Maurice. And then you have the Skeletal Mass, which is just covered in hands holding open a human skull's mouth so it can scream in torment, I would assume. The next one is the Memory of Maurice, which, if you didn't guess, has Maurice's head. And they added the hooves and stuff to the hands for extra damage or creepiness factor, I would assume. And then you got the extra horse skulls on the back. And you can see some more skulls popping out periodically through the shadows. And then last but not least, the one that's the least available right now is War is Hell. So it's just the Dredge with a skeleton face and actual human style looking neck with different bones sticking out. You got your weapon right here, which seems to be like a giant hook piece, as well as the multiple skeletal skulls hanging out, along with the bands of armor and a sword. The Knight, being relatively new, doesn't have that many body-changing cosmetics, except for this one here, the Enchanted Plates. This one just pretty much gives him an undead knight-looking appearance. As you can see, a lot of his armor is now rotted away, and you can see his mouth and face in general, and then also the arrow in his kneecap. And then also the runes and stuff that are burned into his body. I would say, kind of like Trickster, nobody likes Skull Merchant, so she didn't really get any different cosmetics that change her overall appearance. The Singularity only has about one cosmetic that changes his overall appearance, and that would be the Huxley Hybrid, which kind of just turns him into a regular robot with a little bit of life form oozing gooiness all over him. Alright, so next up we have Wesker here, who pretty much only has the blighted skin. Same as like all the other blighted skins, just pussy, gooey stuff all over him with the blight serum sticking out of his back. Ghostface only has one cosmetic that changes his overall appearance, and that would be the Scorched Ghostface. Yeah, same thing as like all the other blighted stuff, even though the mask is pretty kind of creepy. Just like melting, seeping down, but you do see his internal organs. He's got bones and stuff poking out, so that does make it a little bit creepier. So this is an A+ in my book for creepiness. And last and very least is Freddy, because nobody actually plays as Nightmare anymore, and because of the licensing, he only has the one actual outfit, which is the sweater and the pants and the fedora. Alrighty, so that was all the killer cosmetics that do change the physical form of the killer themselves. If you did enjoy the video, go ahead and throw a like down there. Comment, let me know which one your favorite outfit was, and let me know if you want to see me do a Survivor video that's a little bit close to this one, but also not. But I'd like to thank you guys for watching the video, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.